Mike Tice should burn in hell for what he's done. I got Mike Tice again. It always sets off a bad set of results. And I blame this man. I've never seen anybody before Mike Tice do it actually do the crap where we're going to kick the field goal and then we can kick onside and throw a Hail Mary. And when they do it, all the announcers go, "Oh, this is really smart. This is what the analytics say to do. You kick the field goal first." Which, first of all, if you do it with a minute 30 left, okay, I got it because you still got time to make a couple plays, whatever. When you do it with 10 seconds left, it's a jackass move, and it has never worked. The Mike Tice move only exists to backdoor cover and garbage time.
Yeah.
Scumbag. Never forgive Mike Tice for what he has done to the sport of football.
Yeah.
If there is a hell, he should burn in it forever. One of the worst leagues to ever coach.
Yeah.
Any level of football.
Yeah. It's an awful thing and should never be tolerated. You're right. There's no.
I'm sure like Uncle Luke lost a bet on a Pee Wee League football game because someone had a 6-year-old kick a 4-yard field goal.
It should lead to an automatic suspension for the season and maybe lifetime ban. A lifetime ban with a chance to ask for reinstatement.
Any coach who does the cowardly Mike Tice move should deeply be ashamed of himself.
Let's put some points on the board.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
Very pleasant good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Defo Show. We're right here midweek. It's a Wednesday, which means it's all school time with Tony Segreto. That's coming up about 8:30. Brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants, where we'll get the analysis of one Ed Garcia, who of course, he could be our Michigan correspondent. But beyond that, he also was a very knowledgeable college football guy. Couldn't have been too happy with that thing against Oklahoma. That was last week, right? The Oklahoma game, or was that 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago. We talked to him after.
What did they do? They come back and beat a cupcake last week? Maybe he's a little happier than we thought he would be coming into the show. Michigan, and of course, they're always paying a price here for Jim Harbaugh's indiscretions as a head coach.
They beat the crap out of Central Michigan. They had their first game where they looked really good. They won 63-3 over Central Michigan.
So he'll be in a really good mood. Maybe he'll give some gift certificates away. You just never know. Well, those usually end up in the mailbox of one Mike Louie Lubitz. Are distributed very discreetly, I would have to say.
I don't keep.
How many bone-in ribeyes have you had at Texas Roadhouse restaurants, Lubie, over the years? Well, we have to go into, I guess, what would be called the anatomy of an impossible beat, Lubie. Anatomy. And look, we talk about this all the time. That there are going to be many times, if you're gambling, if you're betting on games, or if you're even just trying to publicly predict the outcome of games so that you look like you have some level of expertise as an announcer, and you're trying to figure out, okay, which side is going to win. I don't want to keep giving out losers here. I guess you could achieve a certain amount of notoriety if you lost every game and became one of those guys that is a public handicapper of sorts, or at least has a public platform where you're giving out your selections and you're losing all the time. And at least at some point, the general public realizes you're a loser. And they have the option to just go against everything that you say, Lubie. Now, when you give out predictions on a show, it's with a certain amount of trepidation. I mean, it's not like we're sitting here saying, with a large degree of certainty, "Oh, I tell you what, this is a game of my life, and they cannot lose." Can't do that, right? Because anything can freaking happen in the world of sports. And we witnessed this last night. You could have the most pristine of logic, Lubie, and still end up in a game like I did last night, having publicly given out the L.A. Dodgers under some level of rationale. There was some thinking behind this, Lubie. Ohtani was on the mound for the Dodgers. I thought he'd been looking sharper and sharper with each progressive start. Started out a little bit cold, right, when he came back from Tommy John. They were only going to throw him maybe 2-3 innings in the beginning. So he goes 5 innings last night of not only shutout ball, but no-hit ball. He throws a no-hitter through 5 before they're going to lift him with whatever limited pitch count that he's on. Look, are they going to stress this guy out towards the end of the season? It seems they've been slowly stretching the amount of time that he's on the mound. No-hitter through 5. And after that, and the Dodgers are up 4-0 at the time over the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies had just clinched the National League East. They had one of their aces on the mound. But at the same time, you're asking yourself, who has more incentive in this ball game? It was in Los Angeles, and you were laying like 102 to win 100 if you took the Dodgers at home with Ohtani. You're up 4-0. You're cruising, Lubie. They take Ohtani out. Big goose egg on the scoreboard. He stays in the game, by the way, and ends up hitting a home run, which turned out to be critical later in the ball game. You're up 4-0, and you're breezing. So what do? They bring in a guy named Justin Hrabowski. Not Al Hrabowski, but Justin Hrabowski. Name starts with a W, the spelling. And sure enough, by the time you get out of the next inning, the sixth inning, the Dodgers are now down 6-4. The Phillies rallying for 6 runs, 5 against this guy Hrabowski, and then the subsequent relievers. Tommy Lasorda, not only is bleeding Dodger blue up there in heaven, he's rolling over in his grave, and at the same time, he must feel like a freaking hemophiliac. They are bleeding from every pore. So they're down 6-4, comes up to the 8th inning, still trailing by 2. Ohtani hits a home run. Dodgers tie the score. Now 6-6. You've gotten that call from the governor. Hey, Whitey, get him out of there.
Yep.
The call from the governor, you got a reprieve. You were right about everything with Ohtani, right about who had the incentive early in the ball game. And now you find yourself going to the 9th inning in a dead heat, which you're assuming with this kind of momentum swing once again that the Dodgers are in pretty good shape. It's always good to know, even if it goes to extra innings, what you need to accomplish in the bottom half of the frame after the other team gets up there and has the runner on second base and this whole Fugazi thing. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I hate it.
You hate it? Okay.
Yeah, I don't like it. I think it's dumb. I know in the regular season, fine. And do they not use it? And they don't use it in the playoffs, so okay. But I think they're sort of admitting something. And I get it. The games are going to 19 innings.
But they don't use a shootout or overtime. They use overtime, but they don't do a Fugazi overtime in hockey. We don't have a problem with it. And sometimes goes 3 periods of overtime.
Yeah, I like that. Well, the hockey one I like. They get rid of players and it makes it more open and fun, but it's still hockey.
But when the playoffs come around, they change it back to what it was.
Exactly. And then the baseball does the same thing. I don't know. I think it's stupid. I think it's weird. Whatever. I mean, I guess
really, although, I mean, do you want to sit there on a Wednesday night? I remember seeing the back page of, I think the Mets had played the Houston, the Houston Astros, I guess, or whatever to the Astros. It might have been the Colt 45s at the time. And it was it was like a 23-inning game, and they had the line score on the back page of one of the newspapers. But do you really want to sit there for 23 innings, Luvie? If you're out on a Wednesday night, you got the grandkids with you, and you're trying to say to them or send them, hey, we're going to stay for the whole game because that's what it's all about to be a sports fan. And then they're like, yeah, pa. Only so many $15 cotton candies that you can purchase.
Pretty much.
That might be the biggest ripoff of all foods, cotton candy.
Yeah, it's just air.
And then to charge a guy like $9 for it at a ball game, that's criminal, man. What do they charge at the circus for a cotton candy, Libby? Do you have any idea? You'll be taking little Luca Benici Lubitz to the circus at some point. Don't ever buy that flashlight that spins around, though.
Stupidest.
You ever buy one of those?
Oh, my parents were good about not buying stuff like that.
Monkey on a stick?
Yeah, they didn't.
What about that? No?
No, they didn't do any of that.
Garbage? What kind of, whoever came up with these souvenirs, obviously was brilliant because people bought them, but nonetheless, I don't know that I want to be there forever watching an extra inning game anymore. At first, I'm like the George Will, Bob Costas baseball purist. You're appalled by it. Oh, my God, how did they do that? It looks like a softball league. And then you realize, look, if you're out of there after 10, 11, 12 innings, and how many people, I mean, when you watch a Marlin game, there are a few people in the stands anyway, but, I mean, by the time you get to the 9th inning, even if they were winning 2-1, it's like that one guy. So, who was the guy? Andy, the radio guy.
Florida man or Marlins? Wasn't a Marlins man?
Marlins man, yeah, would be sitting there with what was Andy's last name?
Slater. Wow.
Slater. Yeah, Andy. See you later, Slater.
Yes.
They're like the only two faces there in the crowd. There's nobody else there.
100%.
Some waitress trying to hand them the bill. Are you guys going to pay? I want to get out of here. I don't know. I'm not as offended by it, but nonetheless, you're thinking, okay, you have a pretty good chance there of winning a ball game. And what happens? The Dodgers bring another inept guy out of the bullpen. He gives up a 3-run homer, and they go down 9-6. So here you had it. I mean, you had a perfectly handicapped game. But maybe that's why, and this has become very popular, Lubie, that for gamblers on baseball, they now just bet. And this is something. Remember when the Greek used to give us like a first quarter wager in
Yes.
football?
Yes.
And you're really betting the first quarter?
He
Betting
loves
the first quarter of a WNBA game over unders, first quarter WNBA over unders. Unbelievable. But maybe that's the way to approach baseball at this point. Because that's all you're getting out of the starters. When do you get much more than 6 innings out of the starting pitchers? So if you're going by pitching matchups, which used to be, was that not the number one handicapping priority, pitching matchups? We'll go down the ledger here. I have it right in front of me of today's pitchers and take a look and see where you might have an advantage. And sure enough, it's not a factor anymore. But that was a horrible loss, and the only salvation for the Dodgers, they remain 2 up on the Padres, who the Mets, who have just been plummeting into an abyss, and I mean, all of these New York teams are wondering what the hell is going on out there. It's Vince Lombardi time, and the Mets ended up beating the Padres 8-3 last night, so it's still a 2-game edge for the Dodgers in the National League West. With a lot of baseball activity going on last night. Cal Raleigh ends up setting the record for switch hitters, 56 home runs. There have only been, is that right, 4 guys in American League history who have hit 60 or more. All right, so I'm thinking, and I'm going to look really stupid here, Louie, because should we be able to be named them all? 60 or more home runs by an American leaguer. Obviously, Aaron Judge is one. Roger Maris is one. The Bambino is one. Who's the other American leaguer that had 60 homers or more?
Mantle didn't get to 60?
Who did?
Mantle, what was the most Mantle guy?
Oh, Mantle never hit 60. He was chasing Maris. They were like neck and neck in 1961, and then Mantle got hurt at the end of the season. Maris ended up hitting a few more home runs. I think Mantle had 50, mid-50s that year, and that was it. Never hit it. So who else had? This had to happen relatively recently, no? 60 home runs by an American leaguer. Who is the 4th American leaguer?
I don't know.
Or maybe he could become the 4th. That's possible.
Yeah, I was going to say Raleigh's probably the 4th. Because, again, Sosa and McGuire in the NL, Barry Bonds in the NL.
All National Leaguers, yeah.
Yeah.
The juice was flowing, man. The National Leaguers were all lined up there at the Balco Labs, making sure they got their injections every day. Detroit and Cleveland, is there any chance Cleveland, the Guardians, catch Detroit? They cut the advantage to 5 and a hook. Seattle's up a half a game on Houston, so a lot of interesting stuff going on there. Milwaukee up 5 on the Cubs, and the other races are essentially decided. But lots of juxtaposition going on, and so baseball still, I like to keep it in focus, Libby. I know that you're thinking, why is he wasting 14 minutes of valuable airtime talking about?
Fine. I mean, the baseball season, the regular season is done in the next 2 weeks. I mean,
Yankees had a 10-1 lead. They end up winning 10-9. That was crazy. Marlins actually had a 6-0 lead on the Rockies and ended up winning by a run 6-5. So still interesting to follow. Got the playoffs coming up. Kind of get a little bit of a prelude here in the last 2 weeks. Pennant Drive. Always love this time of the year in Major League Baseball. So we'll try and keep somewhat of an eye on that while we're following all of the happenings, the ongoing drama that is the National Football League. What do you make of this whole Brady conflict thing? Now, Brady, a known cheater. I'm a Brady fan. I'm a fan of what he's done. I don't know that he's going to be the greatest announcer. He's kind of disappointing as an announcer so far. Is that a fair conclusion, Lubie? Because I tell you what, when Brady's announcing, I sort of recognize his voice. I don't always really tune in to the announcing that's being done anymore. If Ian Eagles calling a game, I'm listening. Certain guys get my attention. And I've been trying now for the past couple of years, year and change, is it 2 years that he's been in the booth, or is this his 3rd or 2nd year? I want to say it's his 2nd season.
Wasn't last year's first?
What's that?
I think last year was his first year.
Last year was his first, yeah. Okay. All right, I'm going to go with that. I mean, not incredibly impressive, is he? You would expect more, like maybe an even smoother version of Tony Romo, what he was in his first year when everybody fell in love with Tony Romo because he was anticipating plays and doing the old Al DeRogatis thing. But has he been especially insightful as an announcer? And doesn't it take you a while to even recognize that it's him?
Yeah, I usually never have any clue it's him.
When John Madden was a color analyst on football, you knew right away it was John Madden.
Yeah.
Gruden, whether you liked him or not, you knew right away it was John Gruden. And he was animated enough to make you at least even if what he was talking was just utter nonsense, like gibberish, like he was singing "Inagata Davida, baby," which was supposed to be in the Garden of Eden, and it turned out into a hit song that people still remember today. It was my wedding song, my second wedding. Walk down the aisle to "Inagata Davida." The other choice, of course, being and they had cassette tapes when I got married the second time. They offered you one of two cassettes, "Inagata Davida" or "You've Lost That Loving Feeling." Which would you have gone with, Lubie?
I mean, both of those are horrendous.
What
But
generic one? Inagata Davida, baby. But even when Gruden was talking gibberish about the banana this and all of the other stuff, naming various fruits and vegetables as he was describing pass routes, I mean, it was distinctive, no? Is Brady in any way a distinction or an improvement from any of the other guys that you hear? I mean, you sort of know when Greg Olson is doing a game only because he just never shuts up, right? Greg Olson. Are you an Olson fan? I like Greg Olson.
I think he's fine. I know you're not the biggest fan. He
Oh,
talks.
he's a super nice guy. I mean, he's
I like. Well, as a broadcaster, I like him. I think he's good. I don't think he's great. I don't think he's bad. I like him. I don't think he gets in the way too much.
Too much slobbering, I think.
I think he adds something. But yes, I would like them to do more.
Not every play is so fascinating. I mean, I go by that theory.
I would like them to do more of the recall the situations they were in.
Yes.
And how does that compared to what's going on right now?
Insights into coaches, what people thought about them. I mean, look, Brady should know something about. I mean, he hasn't played for a few years, but shouldn't he have a pretty good indication of what coaching tendencies are with some of the guys that were in the league when he was in there, and give you some of these insights? I don't find that he's particularly insightful, but there's always a controversy with him because he's I don't know what stake he has in the Las Vegas Raiders. He's a minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. So it presents this big conflict, which the league has dealt with in the effect of not letting him go to the actual sites of these team facilities where they have these production meetings, which I've always found them. I guess you could get something out of it. They used to bring fighters in when I was doing boxing, and you talk to them, and they would never really say anything of any great significance. I can't imagine that coaches are revealing their game plans and or giving you any great depth of feel for what they're going to do during a ball game. When they're sitting down with the television announcers, you might get a couple of stories that you can relay. But other than that, I don't know. Isn't it kind of like that pre-draft press conference that they have with the general managers, Lubie? Another one of those meaningless sports press conferences where people are asking questions as if they're important, but the guy's really saying nothing, telling you absolute zip-bola when it comes to something of value and how anything in particular is going to impact the game. So they have him virtually attending these meetings, Lubie. Now, what does that do? Does that keep him from spying on the other teams? Because of the conflict of him obviously having an incentive to provide the Raiders with more of this inside information about teams and what they do at their facility. I don't know. Does it really matter if Tom Brady shows up? This was a guy that was deflating and taking the air out of footballs before they went out for a playoff game, for God's sake. And knowingly did it, and subsequently was in total denial about. I mean, he could run for some. I mean, he could be in the Trump cabinet for the way that he treated that whole situation. So I don't know. How do you feel about that? Are they treating this guy with kid gloves? Because the big issue now is he was seen in the coaching booth wearing.
Yeah, he was in the booth. I don't know. The whole thing's weird, man. I don't.
Should he give up the announcing job? I mean, if he gave up the announcing job, it's a lot of money to him. So,
I just don't.
Should he not be allowed to be an owner of a team?
I just don't know how you can be an owner of a team and be a commentator. I just don't. How do you not have bias? Your money's involved in this team. It's always weird when they put Aikman on a Cowboys game. I've always thought that was a little weird.
Yeah,
and they love doing it, especially when he was on Fox for all those years, which I always thought was weird. But I think he did an okay job at being removed enough. But I don't see how this works at all. I know they've tried, like you said. Well, he's not there. Okay, he's in the booth, guys. How is he in their booth during the game? Clear, and he's talking the whole time. He has headset on The whole thing clearly involved in the game planning and play calling. I mean, they lost by double digits, but still clearly involved. And then he's going to go talk about other teams and be totally
and gain
unbiased.
insights supposedly in other teams by having access to being able to speak to their coaches and try and deduce whatever he can for this broadcast that would help people understand what the hell was going on out there. I don't know. I mean, I guess it doesn't look good, does it? But they're never going to do anything to Tom Brady. And the league has already poo-pooed this and said, it's no big deal. So while many football observers are outraged by the whole idea that Brady's got an unfair advantage here by being a part owner of the Raiders and being a commentator and having access to teams, the league is saying, well, as long as he doesn't set foot on the facility, we're okay with it. I don't know. I don't think it really matters because his ownership in the Raiders, I mean, the guy's got more money than he can ever know what to do with. Did you see that 30 for 30 with Brady about the tuck rule? Ever seen that thing? You check out the mansion that the guy was living in when he was living in Tampa. My God, what decadence. It was unbelievable. He had a house right on the beach there. It's kind of like Derek Jeter, I guess, had a similar situation. Did he buy that place from Jeter?
It was in Jeter's house. Yeah, it was Jeter's house. Okay. For like spring trainings and stuff. Remember, the Yankees are always.
That was. Holy crap. Unbelievable. So his investment in the Raiders, if they decided, hey, listen, you can't buy into a team until you're out of the booth and access to these other teams, how long is he going to do this? You think he's going to be one of these guys that does it for like 25 years?
No,
I can't see that.
I mean, they gave him a ridiculous deal, so he probably would try and live out the deal, but
right.
He's not great. He's not getting better. It's clear he wants to be involved in other things.
Yeah.
They just threw a ton. I don't think he had any interest in doing the booth. They just threw a ton of money at him. And it's hard to, when people are throwing hundreds of millions of dollars at you to just talk about the sport you've played your whole life, it's hard to say no to that. The fact that he took a year off, the fact that he then also took part ownership of the Raiders makes it sort of clear that he doesn't want that job. So we'll see. I mean, he's made lots of money in his life. He has lots of money. He's still involved in a lot of things. At some point, I presume he'll say goodbye to the broadcasting stuff. It's just a weird conflict of interest, and it just doesn't fit at all.
All right.
It weirds me out.
All right. So you're saying get rid of the guy on both fronts.
No, it's fine. They can have him with the Raiders if they want, or broad, but to do both. I don't understand how that's okay.
Doesn't seem right. But
I get it. We live in this world where the leader of the free world is.
Well, that's a whole other story.
Business deals left and right.
Bitcoin to the Saudis.
Clearly using the office in ways that is clearly illegal. So
I like that they have a gift shop there that's selling MAGA hats. That's one of my favorite things. A souvenir shop.
So it's like if he's doing that, I guess all the rules are gone. But if we have decorum and rules and all that stuff, this feels like it breaks those.
This might be one for Ed Garcia. The Vikings, of course, making news. J.J. McCarthy, horrible so far. And if you're looking at this week's slate of games, Louie, does anything stand out? The Dolphins are getting 12 on a hook from the Buffalo Bills, and that's coming up tomorrow night. My inclination would be, Louie, and you're going to find this surprising, as much as the Dolphins are being trashed by virtually everybody. And it's not just people here in town. It's not the usual where the guy gets on the air in the local market and says, this team sucks and everybody's got to go. This is somewhat universal. That the Dolphins are not a very good team and find themselves in a giant jackpot. Very difficult to anticipate. I mean, the word is that Josh Allen has some kind of problem with his nose. Did he break his nose? Because he's going to be wearing a visor on his helmet, which
that's weird.
You would have to think that's a little prohibitive in terms of your vision. Look, you have to spot these guys in a split second way down the field while two 300-pound monsters are about to bury you into the turf. So you would want as much, no impediment to your peripheral vision, would you? I'm always amazed, really, that tennis players don't wear sunglasses when they're playing, and you can clearly see on one side. I mean, you've played tennis, Lubie. You're out there at noon, and you're on one side of the court where the sun's just blazing in your eyes. Wouldn't you want to have sunglasses? Even with sunglasses, it's tough. But they don't want to compromise their vision. I would imagine that's the only reason for it. Would you agree with that?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So if you were a quarterback, the last thing you would want to do is put blinkers on, as they say. Many would speculate that Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, even if he wore a blindfold and was taking the last drag off a cigarette, that they probably will beat the Miami Dolphins on Thursday night in Buffalo, knocking the Dolphins to 0-3 and furthering the The notion that not only is the seat very hot for Mike McDaniel, but that Chris Greer might be out the door with him. What would be weirder if they just fired one or the other? They kept one guy.
Or you're talking about the Dolphins?
I keep getting asked this question. I don't know. You probably do too.
They're firing both guys. This is finally the end of Greer. I mean, this last 4 years was giving Greer a gift he didn't earn. Both guys are getting fired. They've now made sure both guys. Tua is the one that's left behind. That I don't know what you do with it because of this deal.
Can somebody fix Tua, or does he need fixing?
About fixing
300 yards.
Look, if Tua has an offensive line, Tua is going to be one of the better quarterbacks in the league. The problem is, there's only 3 teams that have offensive lines. Like, it's not just I'm aware of that. It's not just a Dolphins issue. It's a every team issue. So Tua's going to always have issues because you need guys with the offensive line playing. That's why the athletic quarterback is needed in this day and age. Most teams don't have good offensive line, so you need a guy that can get away from the pressure. And Tua's just not that guy. I mean, he openly said it. Like, he's not Josh Allen. Okay, so he's not going to have a lot of success in this league unless he goes to the Eagles. Like, yes, if Tua was on the Eagles, Tua would be a top 3 quarterback, top 4 quarterback in the league. The dude, if he gets 3 seconds, the balls he throws are utterly ridiculous. The passes he was making to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle remind you, okay, this is why I defended the guy for the last 5 years.
You were his biggest supporter.
But he's not going to have that here. They're never going to have a line like it's just hard to have a line like that, let alone I'm waiting for them to get the right GM to do it. They have never been able to do it. So, but you have that deal, and I think the guarantee money goes through next year. Like, it wasn't one of these deals where the entire contract was guaranteed, but I think at least half of it was. So, like, that would be last year, this year, and then next year. So I'm presuming a new GM comes in, a new head coach comes in. They'll draft a quarterback, even though this class sucks as bad as last year's class. They'll have to draft some quarterback. And then I'd presume Tua will be the starter next year with the new staff, but they'll have their quarterback. And then you'll either get rid of Tua or trade him or waive him.
You really see the Dolphins ending up in a position to draft
one of
the quarterbacks? Or you're saying
they're going to be a top – if they have 4 wins, look, again, I know the Saints and the Panthers and the Jets are on their schedule twice. So I don't think they're going to go winless. They'll probably find a way to get 2 or 3 wins. I don't see how they get 6 or 7 wins. I mean, look at the Patriots were one of those teams that were supposed to be an easy win. They struggled the whole game. Like, I just don't. I don't.
It doesn't look good. I mean, defensively, they're giving up a lot of points, this team. And, I mean, you would imagine that the Buffalo Bills will be able to score. But when I started to say, would you not take the 12 and a hook in this ballgame, Lubie? 12 and a hook. How badly can the Dolphins be beaten in this contest? They can put points on the board. Buffalo is not a good defensive team. Buffalo has given up a lot of points. Let's not forget they gave up 40 to the Ravens. Now, the Jets didn't offer up much offense. Fields ended up with a concussion. Wasn't extremely impressed. The Jets did score points on the Pittsburgh Steelers, but the Steelers ended up getting destroyed the ensuing week. Still a lot of things. I mean, we got to read the tea leaves a little bit, but
it's early.
Call me crazy, Lubie. Call me crazy. Just right here, straight up to my face. Say, hey, DeForest, you are crazy.
I mean, 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen's never really had injuries, let alone something like this.
Yeah.
Who knows how it's going to affect him? Maybe the Dolphins pass rush.
Did he beat them with a blindfold, though? That would be.
I think they're going to win, but I mean, again, 12 and a hook, which will probably grow, and it might be get to 13 or 13 and a half. That is a big spread.
It's kind of holding steady, 12 and a hook.
So the Dolphins can just look. I mean, it's not the Bills' defense is a juggernaut. The way if you give Tua time, they were
not good. Not good.
They were able to move the ball. They're able to. The offense looked vastly better. It's just the defense is a sieve. But if Josh Allen isn't himself, then maybe the defense can be. I don't know. I would take the Bills just because this Dolphins team.
You're going to go ahead and lay 12 and a half.
The defense has no fight, and that's not good against Josh Allen.
You have a sort of a desperation game here. I'm sure the Bills would like to smack the Dolphins right in the face. Let's see what Tony Segreto thinks. I'm going to bring him in here for a little old school in just a sec, but we may as well bring him in here now because I get a kick out of it. I really do. No, I do. I get a kick out of seeing how good you look every week. I was telling a friend of mine, he wasn't familiar with you. He moved to South Florida after your tenure as the number 1 sportscaster and newscaster in town here. A career that spanned a brilliant, 40-some-odd years? Tony?
40 years.
Can you believe you did that for 40 years? And it's been a while now. So
it's been 15 years.
Okay, so this guy got here after that. This guy I meet on my walk of life a couple of times a week here, if we can connect on the timing. And I was telling him about you and how you came through, for our man Len Robbins with those tickets. I was saying this guy is freaking brilliant. I never had a guy with more connections than this that could deliver like that. Although I still haven't figured out how to download the tickets, so I'm going to need Louie's help with that.
I don't.
Isn't the game this weekend?
Saturday, and then they made it a night game on top of that. So this is a spectacular. What did you say, Louie?
I'm not ticket guy, so I don't know. Talk to Andy or Mayo or Ken.
They have instructions, but one of the elements of the things that you have to do is not available to me. So I have to figure this out, Tony. I have a couple of days.
Yeah, it's not the big
It's like a helpline, so I'm gonna go there and see that the tickets are there. That's all legitimate. And I was telling him about.
We paid the guy, right? We paid the guy.
No, there's a zero balance due, my friend.
Didn't ask for payment.
These are freebies.
Amazing.
Whoever this Hertz guy is, man. Can you introduce me one day? Because I literally I will do whatever this man wants in a gesture of gratitude.
You're not going though, are you?
No. This is Len Robbins and his wife. So she's never been to a big time college football game. Could you pick something better than this?
Is he gonna?
I'm trying to download the ticket so I can give him.
Be nice to you?
Who's
Oh
that?
no, he's great. We love him.
Oh, he's always been nice to us. I wouldn't, Tony. I know what it's like to have somebody drag you into a ticket fiasco. Believe me. I mean, Lubie's even experienced this, but
Yes, many times.
my whole life, just like you, people. Hey, can you get me a couple of tickets to the game? Hey, can you get me a couple of tickets to the fight? Oh yeah, sure, yeah. Ali Frazier, the filler in Manila. I'll get you a couple of tickets, no problem.
Let me tell you the weirdest ones I got.
All right.
The weirdest request I ever had was 2 tickets to a polo match.
Oh wow.
Wow. And was that a tough ticket to get?
Connections? I don't even.
A polo match.
Palm Beach, Wellington.
I know Wellington. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
I had a connection.
Oh, of course you did.
Yeah.
I have a guy.
That's
I've been there one time. I was emceeing a charity event there when they had the polo match.
I did my weirdest play-by-play anywhere.
You were doing play-by-play on polo?
Yep.
Now, did you know what the hell you were talking about? That's not a sport.
I studied. I put it in my head.
Yeah.
And I forgot about it.
That's classic. You got through the
See,
game.
like to me, a chucker is a guy that has no conscience and shoots from 35 feet in a half-court basketball. But in polo,
That's
exactly
a
as a chucker. Is that like the definition of a game? Like here's the first chucker?
Yeah.
I don't know the terminology. See, I would be uncomfortable. I could call most sports, but I'd be uncomfortable calling a sport that I had no idea what the terminology was.
I had a color man. His name was Ani Shinitsky.
Ian Shinitsky.
Ani Shinitsky. He
A
was
Russian or a Jew that's on the polo beat?
He was a polo player.
Okay.
He was and he like ran the show.
Good. Yeah. So what did you say? There's a shot. No, I mean, well,
there's a guy on the horse.
I mean, I'd be tempted to call it as a horse race, but no, it's a big thing, man. The high society up there in Wellington.
Oh my God, it's huge. It's like Downton Abbey on steroids.
I don't know what they paid this guy. This is years and years ago. I was emceeing. Chris Fisher got me involved in this thing. He said, "Can you MC this charity auction for me?" I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll go up there. So I go to Wellington, and they actually brought out. I can't imagine what the fee was. He wasn't quite as big of a star as he eventually became, but it was sort of at that point where he was well recognized around the world. They had John Legend come out and a cappella sing 2 songs to the gathering before the auction started. Wasn't the anthem, but I mean, and I'm thinking, how much money did John Legend
that's crazy
to come out there and sing 2 songs to a crowd of maybe not even 100 people?
Jeez.
What do you think, Tony? Private show.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I did one with Donna Summer.
Oh yeah, wow.
And she was the biggest.
You could say it. It rhymes with it.
Oh, she sucked.
She was not nice.
Oh wow. Legend was a gentleman. very quiet, subdued kind of guy. He didn't.
Yeah.
Very humble. I mentioned
Secret
this
with him.
yesterday. Speaking of humility, and I thought this was great. I don't know if you caught this. I just happened to catch it arbitrarily because I'm flipping channels, and I land on the Golf Channel sometimes. And I wanted to see how Scotty Scheffler ended up prevailing in this Procore tournament, and it just happened to pop up on my screen. Here comes Ben Griffin, who was a shot behind, and he hits his approach shot to 18. He's one shot down. Scheffler's already in the clubhouse at 19 under. This guy's 18 under. He goes for the green in 2 on a par 5, the closing hole, and he hits the green. Right, so he's on the green there. He has a shot at an eagle. If he gets the eagle, he wins the tournament. If he two putts from about 50 feet, which these guys are brilliant at, he goes to a playoff. He ends up 3-putting. He misses like a 4-footer, skirts it well by the hole to the left, a terrible putt. And you'd figure, I mean, the guy was going to be smashing lockers like some of these guys when they're, exhibiting this kind of anger. And he actually, on his way back to sign his scorecard, he stops and signs a couple of autographs. And I thought that is the kind of class that Tony Segreto would exhibit in the toughest of moments. Some guy sticks a hat in front of him, and he actually stops, grabs the guy's marker, and signs the hat, and then continues walking. So applause there, Ben Griffin, for being a real match. All right, we'll get into this. Your opinions on the University of Miami in Florida, kind of interesting because it's always a rivalry, and does that ratchet up the chances of the Gators, who don't look to be too impressive? Canes are coming off this giant annihilation of University of South Florida, which I don't know that we all anticipated. I certainly didn't. And Ed Garcia is going to join us as well, so we'll be back with all of that in a moment. Now that
The time.
it's 8:38.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs unmatched. Steaks hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Joe Bees. The bees collect the pollen, bring it to Joe, he packages it, and he gets it to you. It's simple, 100% natural, and it's good for you.
There's only one place to get Joe Bees, and that's from me. Joe B.
If you want to look and feel good, call 877-300-5632.
What we gonna do right here is go back, way back into time.
We are now kicking it old school with the one and only Tony Segreto, brought to you by Texas Roadhouse.
All right, welcome back to the show. It's time for a little old school, and it's Wednesday with the great Tony Segreto. That's Mike Lubie. Lubit's up there in the corner. You guys are familiar with him, and everybody knows Tony here in South Florida. And worldwide, after his long stint, brilliant run there with the George Michael Sports Machine, one of the original highlight shows that caught the attention of the national public, and was very, very well done, always interesting, and included a little bit of entertainment, which is an important consideration, as you know.
He was the first one to do rodeo.
Yeah. Oh, he was great. Yeah, he had bull riding in there, all kinds of stuff. A couple of things, though, Tony, before and Ed's going to join us here, and we'll talk some college football. I'm assuming you were very familiar with Lee Corso, greatly celebrated for his run there with the ESPN Game Day. I happened to run across him a few times. He was a guest a couple of times on the Jim Manich show, which was like a Sunday night sports wrap, actually was the name of the show, and it was sort of a similar concept, I guess. It wasn't quite like the Sports Machine because you were rolling a lot of highlights. We were talking to people and doing a lot more interviews, but Corso was always a delightful guy to be around. Anything you want to relay about your relationship or anything that you did? Any experiences you had involving Lee Corso?
He
He didn't die. I mean, he retired. So
no, he didn't die. He didn't
right.
die. The fact of the matter is, he went to Jackson High School, and he always came back to see it and to be involved.
Okay.
And this was the early days. He would come into the office. He would come into my office, our offices, and sit and kick his shoes off and talk, and just BS.
Yeah.
And then he'd go, and that would be it. He'd come back 5 months later and do the same thing. He was such a regular guy. You see him, you didn't bow or anything to him. You hugged him, you kissed him, you said, "Hello, how are you? Sit down. Want to have a beer?"
He was very Bobby Bowden-esque in that regard.
He
One of
was.
those guys that was always, and certain people have this quality. Tommy Lasorda wasn't quite in the same vein as these two, because Tommy
was a bit
fire back, some venom here and there, and like we know about his rants, but he was also a guy that always made you feel good, and that's a rare quality in an individual. Bowden always made you feel pretty good about being around him, acknowledging, even the lowest of schmank on the journalism totem pole. He would treat them like they were Howard Cosell. Corso was like that too. He just made you feel really, really good.
Bowden was the best.
Bobby was fantastic.
He was
Lubie's idol. Lubie's a role model for life. But he was great at making Schnellenberger made you feel very comfortable around him in a different sort of way. Bobby, kind of had that sort of country charm to him, whereas Howard was more of a distinguished, with the deep voice and everything. But they just had a way of making you feel good about being around him. Now, the other guy who just checked out, and it really is remarkable because, when you look at this man's accomplishments and the way that he approached life and the things that he did, Robert Redford, and I'm assuming that at some point in time in your brilliant career as a journalist, Tony, did you run across Robert Redford or have any interaction with the great Robert Redford, who passed away at 89?
No.
You weren't asked to be in any of the movies? I could have seen you in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, no?
but I admired him from afar. He was so awesome. He kept his Hollywood fame and fortune in perspective.
And just was so dedicated. I mean, he had the whole Sundance thing that he started, where new films and filmmakers were being introduced.
Charities. Oh my God, he was something
great. And I, he was in a lot of movies, and then he directed a lot of very very high level, high quality movies, Oscar winning movies, and all around. Just was. Look, if you make 89, if that number is blinking on the board for you right now, the problem is, Tony, it's not far enough away. That's what I keep telling my friend.
Far if you look at it this way.
Yeah.
24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
You can waste them, or you can
got to embrace them. Sure.
Embrace them. And
I'm with you on that.
I choose to embrace them.
All right. Well, and we're going to embrace it on Saturday. University of Miami versus the University of Florida Gators. Gators coming off a loss. LSU 20-10. No disgrace.
I think of Walt Kuchevsky every time Miami and Florida play.
What are some of your recollections of this series? Because we were both very much involved in the animosity that was dividing the two fan bases, and this was not a friendly rivalry.
Well, this is old school, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Kuchevsky was the original Gator hater.
Okay.
He was a coach at Miami.
Right.
He was a head coach for a while. He filled in for Charlie Tate. And every year they would burn the Gator in effigy.
That's classic.
Nice. I like that.
And I have to tell you, I don't mind saying it, that in all the years that I've been doing this, and I say it again, I hate those Gators.
What was it about him? I know yours goes back to the Gator flop.
It's a flop.
That for me, that did it.
Yeah. See, for me, it was largely shtick because I knew I could agitate the Gator fans, and I figured it was also a good way to not endear yourself to the Hurricane fans, but you had to take a stand one way or the other. You couldn't just sit there and go, "Oh boy, I really respect those Gators," because it didn't make for good radio. And I actually became an enemy, a known enemy, a stated enemy of the Gator Nation. Where was Pam Bondi? When I needed protection from the hate speak that used to take place. And I will never forget. A guy calls me one day frantically, and he's like, "Did you see this? Did you see this?" I'm saying, "See what? What are you talking about? Are you watching Gator Hotline?" Which I only used to watch as a joke to get some material, some ability to pan the Gators even further for the crappy set that Steve Spurrier sat in front of him. And some guy actually called in to Gator Hotline and said, "You're aware of what this guy DeFlorist is saying about you in South Florida?" And Spurrier acknowledged that he was aware of some of my negative comments. And I thought, really?
I'm big time now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ultimate form of flattery that the coach is actually paying attention, because it wasn't like I was, well, I mean, we were a little down on Spurrier. Here's a guy that's always upbeat, though, and perfect guy to bring in when we're talking college football, which there's a lot to discuss on the plate this week, and that is Mr. Michigan himself. Congratulations on that bounce-back victory, Ed Garcia.
Absolutely.
Ed Garcia from Texas Roadhouse Restaurants joined us here on the show. I mean, I still, my lasting image still was that Oklahoma game. But now, what is the state of affairs with your Michigan fans now? Because they managed to pound a cupcake and get back on track. What's your feeling about where they're at right now? What's the fan base thinking?
Well, the fan base feels great. Obviously, the performance, the offensive performance, the defensive performance was absolutely incredible. Despite, a couple of injuries, they still look really, really, really strong. I think the big difference is that the handcuffs were taken off from week 2 to week 3. Bryce ran the ball. He ran the ball personally over 100 yards. His passing game, I think it was about 16 out of 25. Still very awesome completion rate. He did throw his first interception, and that's good. You got to grow from that type of stuff. We can't just hand off the ball to Justice Hayes all the time, who also had a phenomenal game, even with a 70-yard run, called back, because if not, I think that guy would have been over 200 something. But what a phenomenal game. Very excited this weekend. It's our first Big Ten conference matchup. It's versus Nebraska, I want to say. And so I think that'll be a little bit of a test. It's pretty exciting stuff.
Nebraska's good, Dad.
They played a lot better in Nebraska.
Yeah. Michigan, though, is learning. And again, I don't know if this is right now, going from game 2 to game 3, not having Coach Sharon Moore might be a good thing.
I was going to ask you that, Ed. You think Sharon Moore is the right fit for Michigan?
Is he holding them back? Like, it feels like he's holding them back.
I feel there's obviously, anytime you get out onto that field, there's so much pressure. And I don't know if the mentality is, because, I try to put myself as that coach. Are you going to protect this 18-year-old? I mean, again, he just turned 18 August 19th. So the guy is not even an 18 in 1 month yet. But so do you just go easy and have him hand off the ball, especially with a, much larger offense, Oklahoma and this, that? I don't think we did it justice. You need to, in the adult world, I mean, when I walked out of that house, my parents were like, cool, here are all your bills. Here's this, here's that. And I learned and I grew up. And I think that's the philosophy that, that's the only way he's going to grow and excel. So, I mean, obviously there's a big difference in play calling. I mean, the very first play, which was almost intercepted from Bryce Underwood, was like a 30-40 yard pass, which is about 30 more yards than every other pass he threw versus Oklahoma.
All right, we have the big one on tap here. We know Tony's heart. We know where that is. I mean, he's openly stated here. Well, no, I'm talking about the Canes and the Gators. Which,
I'm 0-2. I'm 0-2 on that one too.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But
what do you think, Tony, about this game?
The Miami Florida game?
Florida game.
Miami will win and Miami could run it up.
Okay, because the bettors are sending it in on the Florida Gators. I was surprised to see this line dropping to the level that it has. And
if Florida goes in and wins, boy, it'll be the upset of the year.
I can't imagine them winning. It's hard to imagine, but this spread a couple of days ago was 9 and a hook. It's now down to 7 and a hook, and it looks like it stayed there. I'm quoting yesterday's News Tomorrow here on these lines, but yeah, I mean, I thought that was surprising because the way Miami looked against South Florida, we all thought that South Florida was going to cover that point spread.
I did.
And Miami looked great in that ball game. Now, you could say that South Florida was facing a monumental challenge there, trying to beat 3 ranked teams in a row, 2 in a row on the road.
Where's you? Yep.
But Miami still, I mean, they look great, very sharp in that ball game. I don't know. Do you see? I don't see the Gators winning. It seems like 7.5 is a really short spread. What do you think, Ed? Shouldn't Miami be favored by like 10 points in this ball game? Based on
I would go. I definitely agree. I feel Miami has confidence right now. They put a statement out there, and they are confident. And I feel it has not gotten to their head. You know, listening to the post interviews, seeing a little bit of the chit chat, obviously on the local channels. They are staying humbled. They're going to be strong, and they're going to dominate. And Florida has very little self-respect. And I mean, I hate to say it, but they've had a rough couple of weeks. I know that they want to bounce back like Michigan wanted, bounced back, but I don't see that in their future right now unless they got a Division II or III school coming up. No offense to.
Plus, Napier's job is on the line again.
I mean, the only reason I see anything is that's it. It's that it doesn't get easier. Texas needs to start shaping up. So when Florida plays them next week, that's not great. I think, again, Mississippi State is now ranked. Like every team in Florida plays is ranked. So it's not going to get easier. So I see them being desperate. And we know desperation in sports can be a scary, scary thing because it can go either way. It's in the end, Miami's just a better team. And it's hard to say this, but especially against Napier, they are the better coach team. So I don't know, man. I think Florida will push them, will be more physical than anyone they played yet because Notre Dame, for some reason, is not physical like they were last year. They've seen night and day from a year ago. So I think in Florida their defense is legit. It's when a guy throws 5 interceptions and you're still down 10 points, like your defense is doing a masterful job. The problem is Lagway's not changing. Like this is who he is, at least now. I don't know if another coach gets their hands on him. Maybe they'll be able to coach the turnovers out of him. Napier's clearly not the guy. I mean, Napier did the same thing with Anthony Richardson. Like he's not making these guys better. So Lagway versus that defense with that front, like he's going to do, it's not like he's going to do less. Like Miami's front's somehow better than LSU's. Like it's just hard to fathom this is a game in the fourth quarter. Like I just find that hard to believe.
Oh yeah. It won't be a game in the fourth quarter.
LSU will be a contender at the end of the year, though.
Yes, LSU's legit. Again, they're very reminiscent to you guys in the sense that they have all this talent on offense. They actually have an offensive-minded guy, which Sharon is supposed to be, but Kelly's not gotten since Jaden Daniels. Their offenses have been abysmal. Like their offense this year is their issue, but you would think at some point they'll figure it out. Like Brian Kelly, at least that's one thing he knows how to do is figure out offenses. I don't see the Gators doing that.
He's getting a little testy too, Brian Kelly. He really lambasted the press in his post-game press.
He looked like garbage.
Yeah. He was not a happy man. Now, as far as Napier goes, Jason Cole made an interesting point that, and he lives in Gainesville. He was on the show with us on Monday, and he was talking about how the surprising thing is Napier is supposed to be this offensive-minded guy, and yet the Gators are staggering around. Now, with 5 picks, you're not going to score a lot of points, but they really haven't put points on the board, and that'll be the question, I think. Now, Tony. I can imagine you've been to, dozens of these games personally, and various bloodbaths. What do you see the crowd shape? I was trying to get a picture of what the crowd will be like at this game for our man Len Robbins. It can't be evenly divided with Gator fans, can it?
I don't know. It depends on the third. The third party ticket sales, because if they go, if all the Gator fans buy them up, there'll be more Gator fans than Miami fans. But I think it'll be 50-50.
50-50 even. What do you think, Ed? I mean, and you're all over this because you have restaurant locations with your Texas Roadhouse, your own locations all throughout the state. You have it.
Gainesville, big Gainesville.
Oh, yeah.
What are you sensing about this game? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm going to go 70-30. I think, there's going to be a strong presence on Miami.
Yeah.
And I definitely, my money is on, Miami by 10. So I think that
Miami by 10, easy.
Yeah, Miami by 10. I feel that the offense for Florida is going to, because they do have, I think a pretty decent, I'd say decent offense, but the defense for Florida will give Miami some challenges, but they're sharp and they have some trick plays up their sleeves. I think that they're going to kind of catch them off guard, and that's what's going to get them the extra points.
I can't believe the difference that Carson Beck has made on this whole team.
You think he's been a little lucky, Tony? I mean, some of those throws, he's been bailed out by sensational catches. I mean, not that he hasn't done well. He's the leading candidate now for the Heisman in terms of, in the eyes of the odds makers at 8-1, and he's been good.
I don't know if he's lucky or not, but just his presence. I think just his presence in the locker room has upgraded Miami's play and Miami's swagger.
He brings confidence.
He's definitely bringing.
Yeah, no,
it's not like the Cam. It's weird because Cam Ward was confident, but it almost felt, and it's weird because people
was separate.
Teammates don't talk about Cam Ward like he's a jerk or anything,
right?
But the way he played, it was very much, I'll figure it out. Let me figure it out. Carson Beck's not good enough to do that. That's just not his skill set. But he's been through the wars. He's won a lot of games, and I didn't get because. When he came over, I laughed. I'm like, dude, Georgia could have kept him. This idea that Miami has all this money. Georgia wanted Carson Beck. He'd be in a Georgia uniform. Georgia would rather Gunnar Stockton, who looks average at best. So that's weird to me that Georgia's letting this kid go when he did win so many games for them before last year. Well, even last year, they won a lot of games. It just, he wasn't the same guy. So I had a lot of questions about him. I didn't think about his personality compared to because he's not Cam Ward. But that's not always a bad. Like Cam Ward was I'm going to take a lot of chances. Some not good things are going to happen, but I'll find a way to win games at the end. It was Jameis in that second year for Jameis is what it felt like to me. Beck's not that guy. He's not going to take chances. He's not going to turn the ball over. He's not going to risk what the defense is doing. He's not going to put them in bad spots. And it does seem like whereas Ward, you're right, Tony, he seemed to just be in his own. He'd go to the side. Beck seemed to be very involved in everything. And the team seemed to be feeding off of him in a way that I didn't expect that. That's the one thing he did learn from George is business, be business. Don't talk. Don't, and that's Cam Ward. Cam Ward's not that at all. And it does feel like the team is sort of taken that. You see that they're not hooting and hollering. They're not doing any of that guard. They're playing football. They're winning games. Then they're going home to watch film, to then play more football and win games. And
the combination of Cristobal, who's on a mission, and Carson Beck.
He got a lot to prove. Georgia left him out in the cold. 100% that's what happened.
He's been a very positive influence and seems to be doing and saying all the right things. All right, we've been dodging this, and I want to get to the bottom of it. Which one of you guys was responsible? Now, I'm not making any assertions or accusations, but I'm thinking it probably wasn't Ed, and I can't imagine it was Tony responsible for that plane flying over Hard Rock Stadium, suggesting that McDaniel and Greer had to go. Were any of you guys involved in that movement? Tony, be honest with us here. You're in Vermont. The likelihood of some kind of public outcry over this is not necessarily going to impact you right away. Ed has business here, so
Ed, you just claim
If it was me, there would be free peanuts falling out of the plane.
I was going to say you'd be throwing.
I'd be throwing peanuts, and I would be wearing the Cartier glasses for the turnover downs from University of Michigan, and just tossing peanuts. I may not look as cool as Mike McDaniels, but I'll definitely strut the stuff. But the peanuts will make me cooler for sure. Yeah, and then a bag of fresh baked bread for the highest bidder.
Even Cash Patel can tell that you bear no guilt in this situation. Then Tony's excuse is a little lame. All right, so what do we think? We have about a minute here, but what do we think about the Dolphins and the Bills? Nobody has a moxie to go ahead and say the Dolphins are going to win this game. Are they within 12.5 points? Or will this be yet another embarrassment, another nail in the coffin of the current regime? What do you think, Tony?
Another nail in the coffin.
Tony's like Undertaker. I've never seen anything negative about a Dolphin team in my life.
180 Tony's done is amazing.
Unbelievable.
It's amazing.
Are you under some kind of pressure from a terrorist group or something?
He hates the Dolphins.
Never seen Tony like they're going to pull back like they did in that Hank Aaron tribute to Barry Bonds, and there'll be two guys with guns to say. What do you think, Ed? Dolphins and Bills tomorrow night.
I feel it's going to go to the Bills. There is
crush job or contested.
I talk about motivation and discipline, and the Dolphins came in the last few years. They had a new coach. There was a lot of motivation. We never built the discipline. The motivation, the flame goes out, and you don't have the discipline, you're not going to get the wins. And the buy-in, obviously, with some of the internal turmoil on the team is not there. And it's in my backyard. I want to see them win, but when the baby's ugly, the baby's ugly.
There ain't no two ways about it.
What are you talking about? There are a lot of ugly babies.
Ed and Tony are the two.
With Robert Redford, good looks. What are you talking about?
And Ed and Tony are like, the Dolphins suck, man.
That sounded like something McDaniel would
say. I never said they suck. I just think they don't have discipline.
You said everything else. Dolphins, whatever business, Roadhouse loves you.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
all right. And look, you're gearing it up here. You get the season coming around the corner, the so-called season that we have here in Florida. Texas Roadhouse happenings, anything of significance?
Hey, we do the same thing day in, day out. We still hand cut our steaks. We got people getting in there at 6 a.m, cutting hundreds up to a couple thousand pounds a week. Just making sure that you have that best quality steak. I'll tell you, this past Sunday, I don't know if people left the game early, but that whole area around Hard Rock, we were jamming. We were busy. People came in, because, again, we have those legendary margaritas with the ice cold beer. Hey, and we still offer free peanuts. I mean, you go out to restaurants today, they used to give you chips and salsa for free. Now it's $3.95, and it's this, that, and everything else. We have that value. We're here to take care of you. We still have people that come and take your order versus a little robot or, things on the table. So come by and see us. We'd love to have you.
Oh, with that pension people had back in the day for stealing sweet and low, be careful with the peanuts on those 4:00 games. People coming in there for lunch and they leave, all of a sudden they look like they're ready to be a vendor in Section 408.
If you've never had Texas Roadhouse, you got to go just for the bread.
Yes, that's somebody tell me that, Tony. And,
great. I would go for more than the bread, but
yeah, I mean, I'm all in that low $30 bone-in ribeye.
I had a dream last night, Ed, that I was cutting steaks at Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah,
make that happen. I feel like we have to.
It's a whole new career. You don't want us doing that.
I'm nervous because my profits just went out the window. Because
he's got him.
Steaks are not supposed to be in circle shapes, Tony. Okay.
Yeah. You talk about finger food. We don't want to find one of Tony's fingers in the food. All right, Ed, always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks so much for joining us. Good luck with your Wolverines in Nebraska. Close,
that's a real game.
Close game, at least according to the odds makers. Tony, always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks so much for being with us. The great Tony Segreto.
Love you, sir.
That's Old School with Tony Segreto for this week. Brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants.
It is funny. It's actually, it's like
he's hurt. 180-degree turn.
It's like he's hurt. Like even we're like, he's like, no, they're bad.
Unbelievable.
It's amazing. He would sing their praises no matter what was going on.
No matter what, it was zippity doo dah, zippity a. We're 1-3, but we're gonna go out and play. Yeah, I guess. Look, if you're the hometown sportscaster, can you go on? TV guys are less inclined to be openly critical. Radio, naturally, you've got guys screaming the team sucks and everybody's got to go.
Mm-hmm.
Newspapers, you would have critical articles written, but usually the local sportscaster on TV is not sitting there trashing the home team. Is that common in other cities? I would think most of these guys that are doing like sports casts on TV news probably are inclined to be favorable to the home team, no matter what the circumstances, right? I mean, you're in New Orleans. Are they sitting there with a voodoo doll of who's the guy, Spencer Rattler? I don't think so. Maybe there they probably don't care. But yeah, for Tony to do this 180-degree turn on the Miami Dolphins, really, really surprising.
It's funny.
Yeah, and week after week, it's not like he's relentless. He's never let up. We're more favorable about the whole situation than he is.
100% at this point.
He was Mr. Dolphin. I mean, next to Dolphin and Denny, who was more synonymous in terms of being a Dolphin advocator than one Tony Segreto. This is a win. This is a win. This is a win. I see them going, looks to me like back in the days when he was doing it, 16 games, 12-4.
100%. They were always winning 10 to 12 games, no matter what they put out there.
The times they are changing, Louis. All right, we have to run. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll catch you later on, and we'll catch you again tomorrow. Gurgles, Trivia Challenge tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So that's always a lot of fun.
We get some new shooters, as Defo says, so we'd love to get you in.
Like to get some new shooters, as the Polyman would say.
Like to say, yeah.
All right, we will see you tomorrow. Thanks so much for being with us. For Mike Lubie, Lubitz, Tony, and Ed Garcia, I'm Jeff DeForest. See you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
9:07.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.